Yeah, I mean,
But keeping in mind just that very point, which is, as you well know, when you're in business with family, it can, or in business with anyone, right?
But
it can
that's
be
true.
It can be
not
a
just
challenge.
family.
Do you guys
Right.
have any set rules where, like, let's just say, I'm really making you feel
No,
uncomfortable.
no. It's a good question. Yeah.
Like, okay, you think you should do this. He thinks the opposite.
Oh, we butt heads. I mean,
You
but
butt heads.
it's always respectful.
But
It's always
always respectful. But when all is said and done, what happens? Like,
She's the CEO.
I mean, I come to him and I'm like, I really feel strongly that this is something that we need to do, or this is something we don't need to do. And, I'm not someone who will ever make a decision solely based on my own. I need to know, I need to research, I need to hear every possible argument. I need to hear the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
So when I go to him, I don't want validation. I want him to challenge me. I want him to say, what could go wrong?
Okay.
What haven't I thought about? So, I mean, when I say we butt heads, I don't think it's we never argue. It's more so I come to him and he's like, well, make sure you're considering this. And I'm like, man, I didn't think about that.
It's a way of checks and balances.
It really is.
I mean,
And it's so
ultimately,
important.
I talk to my dad, or, my mom's involved in the business too.
Yeah.
And she was in banking for years, so she does the books and everything. And she'll challenge me on things.
Yeah.
And then, but, ultimately, like, I get the final call,
Right.
And I'm less fearful of risk. Like, if I put my money out there for something and it flops, I'm not afraid to say that I tried and failed,
Right.
Because I think through failure you learn. So, but yeah, I'm more of the visionary behind things, and then they're more of the, my mom and dad are kind of like, hey, but have you thought about this?
Right.
Have you thought about that? And they're doing it out of a place of love, because I know that they love me and everything. It's not like they're challenging me just to challenge me, but they help me to see
what you're
the
not
potential
seeing clearly.
consequences of the decision I'm making. But then, sometimes I go and make it, or sometimes I heed their advice and,
That,
so,
You gotta trust your gut on a lot of that too.
Yeah.
That's something, trusting your gut and just.
Yeah, it goes right to the core of, operations again, and being a formerly trained project manager. Risk benefit is always, a big part of every project or anything that you enter. So that's my job, which is, kind of helping Kara, understand, make sure you've thought of all of the risks, understand what they could be, what the consequences could be, and then it's up to her to, kind of make the best decision.
Yeah. And ultimately too is like, sometimes you can break it down and it seems risky, but you're just, again, you kind of said it, you got that gut feeling like,
you just know
we got to do this.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I think something I've always said is I would rather fail and learn something and know not to do that ever again than wonder what if.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would rather, if it's a gut feeling that's really calling me, that what if feeling, what if I had made a different decision? I don't want to have to live with that. I want to just find out.
Yeah.
So there are some things that are very obvious, I will never do that, and that's not what we are. But there are some risks. Even the lesson on the other side is more valuable than anything. It's always like learning from your mistakes, and failure is the biggest teacher. Exactly. It's so cliche, but it's just so true. It's so true. It's cliche for a reason.
Absolutely. In business, what do you think is the most valuable lesson that you've learned from your dad?
Wow. I would say I think it's twofold. Trusting your gut is one big thing that I think he's really encouraged me to do, even when it's not his first choice. He's encouraged me. This is your operation. This is for you to try and to mess up, but at the end of the day, it's your decision to make. He's given me so much empowerment to do that, because there, in the first couple of weeks, it was like I was asking him almost permission. I was like, do you think this is a good idea? He's like, Kara, you don't need my permission. You can do this. And in that same vein, I think adaptability and being able to look yourself in the mirror and say, this worked, this didn't, and not being so stuck on any one idea or any one, angle or perspective that you can't just drop it and move on and change and just, I think that adaptability of being able to respond to feedback, welcome feedback. Everyone I talk to, I welcome it. I'm like, ask me the tough questions, make me think about it. I think it's both being adaptable, but also being empowered to lead this and to trust myself,
Yeah,
right?
that's awesome. Questions for you. What have you learned most from your daughter in business?
One of the things that's always been a challenge for me is just kind of getting in front of people and that whole networking component of it. And, I've been to networking events before. I'm been a part of a couple of the senior networking groups here in Harford County, but I'm usually the guy sitting at the table waiting for someone to walk up to me.
Yeah.
And just to, kind of watch her kind of operate in the room. And it's, come on, Dad, if you don't get up and, walk around and start talking with people, there's nothing going to happen.
That's what
here.
everyone's there for.
Right.
That's what I say. Everyone's there to be approached. And
but I can totally feel what you're talking about, right? I mean, it's like this, I got to push myself. But that's why we're here. You're supposed to be meeting people.
Exactly.
Right,
That's the one group of space where you can approach anyone, reach your hand out, shake their hand, and say your name. And you will almost, I won't say 100% of the time, but 99% of the time, you're going to be very, very well received. How often do you get into a space where you can just walk up and say...
And again, people want to help.
Right.
People want to help you. Yeah, that's awesome.
So did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead, click it.